So last weekend, this is the last thing I want to talk about, but last weekend was the fight between Caleb Plant and Caleb Truax. Caleb Plant basically winning, every second of every round, winning a unanimous decision, all three cards, 120, 108. Kind of what you expected, right? Kind of expected that Caleb Plant would win basically every round of this fight and do it pretty easily, right? Um, he, I always kind of have the same feeling after I watch him fight. Like his skills are crazy. He's got great defense. He's got great movement. He's very elusive. He's very coordinated. He's very tricky to hit with one clean shot. I like the way he throws combinations. I think he's got like a decent amount of power. Um, and I know he hurt his hand in this fight. I don't know which hand, but I know that he hurt a hand in this fight, and so it makes it actually that much more impressive that he was that busy. Um, but it's weird. Like I feel like multiple times when I've watched him fight, after like the seventh round, he gets hit with weird shit. You know what I mean? Like he spends like the first 7 rounds of the fight, like Truax can't really even put a hand on him. And then like the back 4 or 5 rounds of the fight, every once in a while, Truax would just land like this big shot, 1, 2 around. And it was like, I can't figure out if those are lapses mentally or if it's fatigue but it's like he'll be so outmatching. Like he was a completely different level than Truax for 7 rounds, 7 to 8 rounds, and was for the end of the fight too. But was still took some punches that were pretty slow, and I think like he was avoiding so much of Truax's offense in the first half. It's like you're not taking punishment, you're not getting hit. Why is it that you're not able to fully sustain that for 12 rounds? And in this fight, there's not really any consequences to that because Truax is not the most dangerous opponent, but he's smart and he's savvy enough. He's watching what Plant is doing. He's trying to get something in. And to me, I think that he just hasn't been tested enough. Like the best fighter he's fought is probably Jose Uzcategui. And so there's nobody really in the top 10 at super middleweight that he's fought. And I think it's just like not that he fights down to the level of his competition, but maybe he is not engaged the way he should be because it is coming so easily to him. And I think that these kinds of fights, he has to stop having these kinds of fights. I understand having to fight mandatories and all that, but I think at this point, everyone pretty much considers him an actual champion at this weight, belt or no belt. I mean, it helps to have the belt. But I think like he can't have more fights like this that are not elite level guys. He can't do it. The last couple of fights he's had since Uzcategui is very disappointing. The competition that he's taking. And I think it's time. I think he's either going to get stale or he's going to keep getting bored, or I just think that he's so good that the shit that he does get hit with at the end, it's like uncharacteristic of his talent. So then it gets you thinking, how does this happen against Canelo? How does this happen against all of these top guys? Because he's talking about fighting Canelo. How is that going to work? Are you going to have those same lapses with Canelo? Because if you do, you're going to sleep. You're going to sleep. I think in light of Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders signing to fight, I think sometime in May, around Cinco de Mayo, Caleb Plant's just got to bite the bullet and fight David Benavidez. Like, that's got to happen. They're both on PBC. PBC spends so much fucking time keeping it in-house. They don't even show champions from other promotions anymore, basically. These are the top 2 PBC super middleweights, and they should fight. Now, I don't really care about whether or not Benavidez has a belt. I get that Plant probably is of the position, look, if you have a belt, I want to fight you. But if you're going to fight Caleb Truax, like, you have to fight David Benavidez. Then it's not about belts. I know you're fighting Truax to keep your belt, but it's bigger than the belts. It's absolutely bigger than the belts. So why not Benavidez? What's holding that fight up? Is it that he doesn't have a belt? Are you waiting for that to be worth more money than it is right now? Because to be honest with you, I think you're going to be waiting for a bit if that's what you're waiting for. So that's a fight I think he should make right now. And if he can't get that fight, he needs to fight another top guy at 168. He needs to fight Callum Smith. He needs to fight Danny Jacobs. He has to take on, somebody in the top bracket of super middleweight. Otherwise, I think that he's going to keep turning in like mostly solid performances with like weird little gaps or weird little moments. And I'm not taking anything away from Truax either. He is a decent fighter, but the skill difference here, man, he was taking shit he had no business taking. There was punches he was taking in this fight that, and just even for his longevity, somebody that's that good defensively, it's like, how is he getting hit with that? So clean. It's like, what? It's not even like, it's like a little something in the mix of a big it's like he's getting hit with these big shots. And I think that he really does need to test himself against somebody at the top at 168. And I think if he doesn't, that there's the potential to get stale. And sometimes this is what these promoters do, man. If they don't have a big talent pool at a certain weight class, they hold out, hoping this fight's going to wind up being worth all this fucking money. And then it may or may not happen. You see it all the time, man. Fucking Gamboa and Juan Manuel Lopez never fought. And now they're both, they're both done. Sometimes those fights just don't happen. So if you don't take it while it's viable, because you think it's going to be worth more, there's a good chance you miss out on that fight. So